changed on a dime, and next thing we know, we had to scramble to really get out of there. It was a lot of chaos. It was crazy. You'll get through it one day at a time, you know? Excuse me.
Wildfires happening in Southern California. Several big fires continue to burn in the LA area right now. Red flag warnings are in effect through tonight. Nearly 20,000 acres have been destroyed in the Palisades fire, and the fire is only 6% contained.
We've also learned that 2 people have died in the fire. Let's get to Gigi Glacier.
That have been leveled by the fire. One house standing here and there, the rest burned to the ground in the nearly 20,000-acre wildfire that has forever changed so many lives. In neighboring Malibu, the scene repeats itself. House after house, business after business on both sides of Pacific Coast Highway destroyed. And with only 6% containment, the firefight is far from over. And then there are the injured. No exact number, but many are burned victims. One, a young city firefighter who suffered a serious head injury. Yesterday, there were at least 4 reports of possible human remains found in the rubble of burnt-out homes. 2 of them here in Malibu, including this one on PCH, where the medical examiner removed the remains believed to be that of the homeowner who stayed behind reportedly to try and save the house. Now, yesterday, the head of FEMA was here in Los Angeles to offer federal assistance, while President Biden committed federal funds to cover 100% of the firefighting costs. If you are a victim of any of the fires that have been happening this week.
Track the deadly wildfires that are burning in Los Angeles County. Here's the map. The major fires burning in that area right now, with whole neighborhoods destroyed. Here's what we know right now. The fires have burned more than 35,000 acres. More than 10,000 structures have been lost. 180,000 people have been forced to evacuate. The Palisades and Eaton fires are now the top 20 most destructive wildfires in the history of California. We're getting a clearer look now at the destruction.
Drone video Thursday night shows the scope of the devastation from the Eaton fire in Altadena. Burning buildings, thick black smoke, and footprints and empty shells of what used to be people's homes and businesses. We're getting our first look at this dramatic inside view of someone's Ring security camera recording their property being consumed by flames from the Palisades fire. Authorities are now bringing in cadaver dogs, saying they don't know the exact death toll.
At one point, we'll be able to do a more thorough search of these impacted areas. Some of them look like a bomb was dropped in them.
The family of 66-year-old Victor Shaw says he died in a heroic attempt to defend his home in Altadena.
I opened the front door and just yelled in, "Victor, we've got to get out. This is it. We have to get out. The fire's here." And I didn't hear him say anything. I heard him say nothing. So I ran to the car and I just got out. I just got out. And I went down the street and there was a police car and I flagged them. And I said, "My brother's in the house. I need help." And he told me to get out. He said, "Go."
After finding his body out front, a garden hose still in his hand.
I can't imagine what he might have been thinking, how he might have been so frightened, and I couldn't be here. I couldn't be here to save him. I couldn't be here. That's what hurts the most.
Adding to the anguish, a new fire is burning Thursday night, the Kenneth Fire, prompting mandatory evacuations. These new aerial images show the neighborhoods under threat. A growing number of evacuees are anxiously waiting to get home.
It's really scary when you can see the flames coming up over the houses 2 blocks away, and you're just getting out of the driveway, and the smoke and the ash is so thick you can't even see. You can barely see 5 feet in front of you. It's like Armageddon.
At least 180,000 people are under mandatory evacuation orders, potentially leaving neighborhoods vulnerable to theft. Authorities say they've made at least 20 looting arrests.
That is unacceptable behavior. Having additional resources, having the National Guard with us, which will augment those resources, will help send a stronger message, keep people out of the impacted areas so we don't continuously victimize the people who have already been victimized, who have lost their home.
5 Firehawks and a few S2s have been sent south to battle the flames. The fire captain says the need for aerial support really grew and crews had to leave quickly. Since they got there, fire crews have been faced with challenges like strong Santa Ana winds, which makes precise aerial drops a constant struggle. And despite this, McClellan Air Base continues to play a vital role in this ongoing effort to contain the fires and protect communities.
The reality is the winds are so dynamic, and at that tipping point, when our resources, air resources, were grounded, that changes our strategies and tactics.
I've been doing this for 28 years. It seems like we've been getting busier and busier, and the fire seasons become longer and longer.
And CAL FIRE says they have not sent all of their air resources to Southern California. They still do have aircraft available if a wildfire ignites in the northern part of the state. And on the ground, Sacramento Metro Fire says their crews have been fighting nonstop for over 3 days with no end in sight. Officials say they had to assist with a burning high school, leaving kids without classrooms. And the battalion chief says the damage they're reporting is nothing short of apocalyptic.
And lawmakers right now, Assemblyman Bill Saley sent the governor a letter demanding a stop to this special session to focus on the firefight in LA. He says a special session should be called to find more resources for the firefight instead of trying to fight the incoming president.
I just believe that's the wrong policy and priority. We should be focusing on fireproofing the state.
Lawmakers are expected to continue the special session hearing on Monday. And the president, vice president,
swirling like embers are concerns that many who lost their home in the Los Angeles wildfires also lost insurance coverage as their policy was canceled or non-renewed in recent months.
We're going to see who's non-renewed. We're also looking at if you were non-renewed, but you're still essentially covered within the deadline, then do you still have coverage?
California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara points out state regulation requires insurance companies to give customers 75 days notice before their policy is canceled or non-renewed. So even if someone got a notice before the fires, they might still have coverage.
The other question is, what happens to the folks who are not insured? So we're going to rely on the federal government and FEMA to offer services and the state to be able to offer some sort of reprieve for folks who may not have coverage. But right now we're in the middle of assessing what insurance are covered in the area, who doesn't have coverage.
He says it's too soon to estimate a dollar figure for the losses, especially since homes and businesses are still actively burning and threatened.
My job at this moment is to make sure that insurance companies pay these claims out as quickly as possible.
Many homes here are on the expensive and bare-bones California FAIR Plan, a state-mandated, privately funded insurer of last resort. The number of people on the FAIR Plan ballooned in recent years as private insurers have paused or limited business in California, citing the rising risk of wildfires, high cost of rebuilding homes, and state regulations. I asked Laura, so just to be clear, FAIR Plan customers who lose their home can expect to be paid out.
Absolutely.
In a statement, the FAIR Plan told ABC 10, we are aware of misinformation being posted online regarding the FAIR Plan's ability to pay claims. The FAIR Plan has payment mechanisms in place, including reinsurance, to ensure all covered claims are paid. As for future fires, Commissioner Lara has enacted a 1-year moratorium on insurance companies dropping or non-renewing customers within the immediate area of the Los Angeles wildfires. So those who do have coverage right now will continue having it for at least a year.
Months digging into the home insurance crisis, hearing from homeowners, Congress members, and the insurance commissioner about how we got to this point and what could be done to help. So you can stream this special investigation right now on ABC 10 Plus. Just look for California's insurance crisis